Okay, so I'm here with MMA Cork's Louise Brady. She fought and won in Cork last weekend for her debut, which was very long awaited. I want to say it's about a year and a bit since she was supposed to make it, and she finally did. And then she's going to be fighting this week on Cage Conflict, another fantastic show. Thank you so much for your time. I understand it's fight week, so I appreciate you being able to give me this time. How are you doing? How are you feeling?
Good, feeling good now. Thanks for having me on.
No, you're good. You're good, and obviously you fought in Cork, which you got a massive. You probably other than Brian, I think you got the biggest pop. Other than Brian and
Yeah,
Johnny, you got a massive pop. Tell us what that experience is like, because we know you're a world champion from youths, and you've been trying to make your amateur debut. You did try and make it. How did it feel to finally make it and make it on a show in Cork?
it was class. Like I obviously had fights from youth and whatever, but it was the first time everyone, like all my friends and family, were able to see me and stuff. So, and for that to be my debut was insane. Like it was so like nerve wracking, but it was such a good experience to be that nervous on the first time out.
Yeah, and was it because all your friends and family were there? Is that what made it that rather than
Yeah,
obviously like this weekend you're gonna be going to Belfast to fight Mel?
yeah,
Uh
yeah,
and she's not exactly hometown, so it's kind of gonna be a fight where the fans are gonna be neutral. That would have been an easier one to start off with, I think. But like you
yeah.
said, you've experienced a lot in that one. What was it like walking out and hearing them all? And
It was mental because, like, usually you can't, like, you kind of zone in. Like, I know from the walk, I kind of zone in and I don't really hear much. I just hear my corner and like what they're saying to me. But it was like the first time ever I just heard the whole place, and I was like, it got me buzzing for the fight. But it was kind of like I could feel the kind of adrenaline more than when I walked out for the Worlds and stuff. Even though it was it was a bigger fight in some ways, the Worlds was, but it was like this to me felt more important. It was like they got to see what I actually do, because I'd say like most of my family were like, "What is she doing in that gym every day?" So it was nice for them to see what I was doing. So yeah,
no, that's good. I like that. Like I said, it's the one at the worlds would be more important, but I think it's with MMA events now in general all over the country. It's like it is an event. It is a day out. It's there's people there, it's screaming, and shouting. Whereas the worlds is you kind of in different cages. People are kind of
yeah,
minding their own business, and you
yeah.
do your thing. But how are you looking forward to this week at No, sorry, when you won the fight, you won the fight. How did you feel once you won? Because I remember at one stage when I was looking through the cage, you got caught with an up kick as well, didn't you?
Yeah, right at the end as well. And it was like, because like I hear no one but my corner when I'm in there, and it was like the first time I heard the crowd. Like even when I was doing well, and I picked up the girl and I could hear the crowd cheering, but it was when I got the up kick I just heard ooh from everyone. Everyone was like, "Oh shit!" But it was grand. Like I think it looked worse because I fell down. It looked like I like went out or something. Everyone was saying, because I went down for a punch after it, and it looked like I just went up and then down. So it was grand. Like you experience like I didn't feel anything in the moment. It was just kind of you
Yeah.
know my first real headshots fight. So it was a lot like
Yeah, because from my angle, it looked like when you got hit, it kind of buckled you, but you were obviously
yeah,
going down for the
yeah,
shot. But once you got your hand raised and you're there, and the crowd's going absolutely mental. Like, what's that
yeah,
feeling like? Because, like I said, you won the world, but there's only a select few people there, and it's usually teammates. And not that
yeah,
they're not excited that you win, but your family are obviously going to be super excited, and you could
yeah.
hear them and your friends in the background. What was that like standing out, kind of looking out at them?
It was crazy. Like because it was like before the fight, you're kind of, I think, when you're nervous and whatever, you're like, why am I doing this? Like every time I go in, I'm like, why am I doing this? And then you finish and you're like, win, lose, or draw. It's an unreal feeling. But then it was like amplified 10 times more with them being there and able to kind of run out to them afterwards. And, you know, for my mom and dad, especially, to see it was a lot. It was like they were the main people there, but everyone there was just, it was crazy. Yeah, it was unreal.
Yeah, and like that's finished. You're gonna be fighting this weekend. How do you feel about fighting in Belfast as well? Because this show, your team's been on this show quite a lot. It's the venue is kind of it's intense. Let's say it's mad. It's a very good
Yeah.
show. How are you feeling about getting your second one off within a couple of weeks after not being able to get an amateur fight for such a long time?
I think like it's good that I'm just able to. I'll take them as they come, because, as you know, like women's fights in Ireland are few and far between. So you kind of have to take them as they come, um, as much as you can. But I'm excited. I've never been to this venue or anything, so I'm excited to see it and experience it. And I know it's a big show, so it brings in a good crowd. And again, like the more times you're in there, the more experience you build, the more you get used to it. Like so, it'll be good for me.
You know, will be. And I believe last time Mel fought, she was on the main card as well. So you might be on the main card of the show as well. You never know.
Yeah.
But when did you start MMA and why? Because like obviously you're a world champion, but to get to where you are now, you had to start somewhere. What was it that made you join MMA, and was it MMA Cork that you first joined, and why did you first join?
So when I was young, I was doing taekwondo for a bit. I think everyone has a background in taekwondo at some stage, and I kind of got, I got a bit bored of it. And I was playing like all sports when I was younger. I was into everything. Um, and actually, my brother went to school with two of the lads that own the gym. He went to school with Jack and their other brother, Callan. Um, so he said to me, he was like, "Why don't you join there?" Like, and I was mad for watching the UFC and stuff with my brother. So he's like, "Why don't you do it?" So I did. I went up one day randomly, just went into the class. I was only about, I was 11, I think. Um, Walked in, and from there I gave up every other sport. I was in soccer, I was in everything, swimming, everything. I gave up everything and I was like, that's it now, I'm doing this. So it was class.
That's right. What was it about it that like what was your emotions and stuff walking into a gym? Because especially at any age, I think when someone walks into a gym, it can be a little bit overwhelming, a bit of the unknown. And at 11-year-olds, you sound like you had a bit of confidence that you just strolled into the gym. What was that like? Did you go in and go, "This is what I want to do," and just walked in with confidence, or were you a bit hesitant, or how did it
Yeah,
go?
I was
How did you find it once you got in? Because MMA gyms, I believe, are quite accepting, like probably the most
yeah,
accepting gyms you can go to.
definitely. Like I was very shy when I was younger, like really shy. I was the only time I was confident when I was doing sports. So I remember my dad actually brought me to the gym. At the time we didn't tell my mum because my mum would have been like, "Oh my God." Um, so we went down, we looked at it. Um, and I remember going in. What caught me the most was that like everything was different. So like because you've so many things, I used to get bored in sports, so I'd play them a lot, and then I'd get a bit bored. Whereas like MMA is kind of, it's everything. Like you're learning something new every day. You go into the gym, it's something new. So I was intrigued by that. And then like the lads are just so friendly. Like everyone there is friendly. And at the time, Fia Fia Maguire, the lad's sister, was there. So like it was cool to see a girl as well who was a little bit older than me, like a big sister kind of.
Yeah.
That kind of brought me in to it a bit more. Like it got me kind of addicted to it, the kind of newness of it all. It was class, yeah.
Yeah, and is it good to have another female in the gym once you went in? Do you think that's a set? Because most gyms you go into now, there is big female classes as
Yeah.
well. So when you look back at when you first started to now, there's a couple more girls in the gym, I would presume, is there?
Way more. Like it was me and Fia at the start. And now it's kind of like I think we've like from the beginners class there's 4 or 5 girls, in the intermediates there's more, and then in the advanced class I'd say there's about 10 of us,
That's good.
6 to 10 of us that are kind of constantly training and in there the gym. So it's after getting way better. Like,
Yeah, no, it is after getting fantastic. And like you said, like you were talking about having women in the gym. When you look at how MMA has gone for women in this country, obviously you've got Danny McCormick, who's Invicta champion. She left. You've got Shauna Bannon, who's reached the UFC. Sinead Kavanagh, Liam McCall, all these. Do you look at all these girls and where they are and take inspiration for them? That this is where you could be if you push it the
definitely,
next few years.
yeah, like there's so much, even from the amateur level, being able to kind of see them closer and reach. They were like, even looking at Emer Darcy, like how quick she was able to make that change is so inspiring for women coming up in the sport, because it's like it's not too far away where you can't see yourself there. It's kind of a middle ground where you're like, oh shit, if I really put my head down and work away, like it is possible. Like, so
Yeah, and like Emma Darcy was a very quick turnaround from amateur to pro. I think about a year and a half, I'd say she was in the amateur game and she
yeah,
just kind of rose to the ascendancy. But yeah, it's I just think the female game has just got better so much and leveled up, and there's so much more girls doing it. With the amount of shows we have in the country for regional scene, I know obviously there's Premier. I can't name them all. There's about 10 shows. But how do you feel
yeah.
as an amateur fighter? and more girls coming on the scene, that you'll be able to get more fights potentially.
Yeah, it's good because like the lads in the gym have so much amateur experience before they even think about turning pro. Whereas you see a lot of the girls in the country only get about 7 fights and they have to go pro because there's no one else for them to fight. So it's like either they fight the same girls over and over again or they have to go pro. So it's way better. It's the proper setup. Like it's how it should be, you know.
Yeah, and obviously we're not going to look past Mel because she's your opponent this weekend, and the person in front is always the most dangerous. But
Yeah.
like for the rest of the year, do you have a number of fights you'd like to get if you can
Um,
possibly? And will you be open to traveling to the likes of the UK, or will you be doing IMAS or stuff like that?
yeah, like I'm open to everything really. I'm just gonna take it as it comes, like see what fights come up, see if I can get a girl. I know maybe of 2 or 3 shows that I'm looking at now. Like the lads just tell me which one I'm going to, and they're like, "Yeah, this is the next one. You're doing that," and so they have it all figured out for me. So it's like I don't even have to think about that. But it's kind of like there's a few now in kind of definitely October time. I know Cage Legacy always do a show. September time, EFC is coming back again. Um, yeah, and maybe like going to the UK for 1 or 2 might be the way to go as well. Just more girls and a bigger pool of people. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah, like that. There is because your weight is bantamweight, isn't it?
yeah,
Bantam, yeah. So you're actually in a weight class that you've got a few girls in. The only difference is now is some of the girls are really experienced, and then you come in with your one fight. That seems to be the problem with all
yeah,
female fighters when they come in and get 1 or 2 fights. The only kind of next person to fight has 10 fights, and it's just like, can you really do it? Like, can you really put it
yeah,
together? But but hopefully, like you said, there's more girls coming through and through, like Sarah Elliott Sheridan and Chloe Krauser are going to be fighting the week after you then for the women's bantamweight title. On
yeah,
your, is that something you'd look at getting? Is because Sarah, I'd say, is not far off going pro, and I wouldn't say Chloe's far off either as well.
yeah.
Like, is it good to see that there is female titles out there on the amateur scene now as well?
Definitely, yeah. Like that fight, I think they fought before, didn't they? The two girls.
Yes,
That's
they
their
did.
second fight. Like it would show you like how many times they have to fight each other, the same people. But it's cool like that. There is titles now to be won, and I think a lot of shows are prioritizing women now as well. They always kind of want women on the card now as well. So it's cool. Like yeah,
Yeah, like whereas before, like out of the run of shows that they might be on for like 4 or 5 weeks, they seem to do every weekend after each other. There might be one women's fight now, whereas every show seems to have at least one female fight, and some of them even have 2 or 3. I want to say it was your had 2 or 3 maybe on one of their shows as
yeah,
well. But no,
yeah,
it is good that you have that stuff to look forward to as well, the likes of the belts, and hopefully there will be more coming through. I'll have a look around for people your same experience level as well. But then again, you're a youth champion as well, so you're gonna
yeah,
like when people see you with one or 2 fights, they're not taking into account the youth stuff as well. So,
yeah,
but go like that going forward. There is a lot of shows. I would presume you're going to be looking for EFC though.
yeah. Definitely, 100%. Yeah,
Yeah,
like it's kind of all my fights have been in Dublin, or like the trials are all in Dublin and the nationals or whatever, and like it's nice to be able to have a show down south as well that kind of the more local gyms around here can go to, and it's not as much of a travel. It balances it out a little bit, so it's handy. Yeah,
yeah. I was saying that to Barry as well, like because there wasn't a huge amount of show, like obviously fighters or that from the north. But I see it, but no, I seen the likes of Sligo and Limerick and stuff that I hadn't really seen a shows. These guys need the opportunities. These guys need the chances as well.
yeah,
To have that show, you're open up opportunities for other gyms. Then it
yeah,
might help people open more gyms around those areas as well. So I think like
definitely.
that. Stick down there. Premier kind of does around the bottom as well. They move around,
Yeah,
and Cage Legacy you're planning on doing Cork and stuff again as well, which would be
yeah.
great. But there is a lot more options. I wonder. I'm going to let you go. And thank you so much for joining me. Is there anything you want to say before you go, or anyone you want to shout out? And thank you for your time.
Just the lads, Emma Clark, Aaron, and Jack. My boxing coach Scully. Um, my nutritionist Sean Adaptefelt. He's savage. He's helping me so much. He's changed my whole weight cut and everything all around, so it's much easier. yeah, just everyone, all my training partners, my family and everything, especially coming to the last fight, all the people that bought tickets for that. And yourself, thanks for having me on.
No, it's absolutely my pleasure. I will see you fight this weekend in person again as well. It'll be my pleasure. And talk to you on Saturday.
Nice one. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you very much.